The UN Security Council met today in an emergency meeting to discuss a suspected chemical weapons attack by the Syrian government. Take a listen to what U.S. Ambassador to the UN Nikki Haley had to say.
Our president has not yet made a decision about possible actions in Syria. But should the United States and our allies decide to act in Syria, it will be in defense of a principle on which we all agree. It will be in defense of a bedrock international norm that benefits all nations.
And here to tell us more is Talking Points analyst Jack Watson. Jack?
Thanks, Nicole. You heard it from the UN ambassador. Today, the United States, France, and Britain lobbied the United Nations Security Council for military action in Syria. This comes following the latest chemical weapons accusation against Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's government, this time in the Syrian town of Douma. The U.S. maintains the Assad regime continues to use chemical weapons in the 7-year-long Syrian civil war, and French President Emmanuel Macron claims that he has evidence that the Syrian government carried out the attacks. Russia, however, is alleging that the United Kingdom staged the gas attacks, a claim that was promptly denied by the United Kingdom as, quote, a blatant lie. Russia both politically and militarily backs the Assad government, while the U.S., U.K., and France all either oppose Assad or back Syrian opposition forces. According to a report today, U.S. President Donald Trump is unhappy with his advisor's suggestions on the Syrian conflict.
Okay, Jack, what are the options the UN is considering in this entire thing?
Well, the UN, if the Security General of the UN is any indication, they want diplomacy and they want both of the sides, both U.S. and Russia, to act it out. The UN Security General actually called this somewhat of a revival of the Cold War, which is certainly not what the rhetoric that you want to be using in a situation like this.
No. For sure, and it seems like it's a little bit of a different kind of situation. So what makes it unique?
Well, the fact that we're right now in April 2018, it's a little different than it was when Russia entered the conflict in 2015 and when the United States entered the conflict in 2014. That main difference, at least in my opinion, is that that ISIS is diminishing both in Iraq and in Syria. They have some territory in the eastern and northeastern parts of Syria, but they're a faction that's going away, and now center stage is between the Syrian opposition forces and the Syrian government backed by Russia.
So could we see further escalation of this conflict?
You know, they're certainly working to make sure that doesn't happen. But of course, Russia has said that they're not ruling out war, but it's going to be a very crucial situation for what I believe to be the biggest challenge of the Trump administration when it comes to foreign policy yet.
All right. Well, Jack, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.